This was a cold-blooded murder. My son was left on the ground like an animal to die.
He calls it every parent's nightmare. Now at 4:30, a heartbroken father files a wrongful death lawsuit against Chicago police after his son is killed. The victim in the case is Maurice Granton. We told you about him last week when body camera video surfaced.
Granton died in a confrontation with police in June. Officers said he had a gun. An autopsy showed he had been shot in the back.
Charlie Wojciechowski's live in our newsroom with more for us. Charlie.
Well, Mary and Patrick, attorneys for the Granton family, say we've seen part of the evidence in this case, but not all of it. And what's missing could depict the 24-year-old in a different light than police are suggesting.
Come here, man.
Attorneys for the family of Maurice Granton say they know there was a foot chase. And they know 3 to 4 shots were fired. But they say they still don't know why the 24-year-old was shot to death by a Chicago police officer as he tried to climb a fence with no gun in his hands.
Today, I'm living every parent's nightmare. It's the most terrible feeling you can imagine, seeing your children killed.
Now the family is filing a wrongful death lawsuit against the city and the police department, alleging that Granton was not an imminent threat and should not have been met with deadly force.
Officer Thrasher waited for Maurice in what appears to be an ambush.
Attorneys also object to what they say has been the selective release of information, including video of Granton prior to the incident and a Twitter photo of a gun alleged to be Granton's found near the scene.
And proverbially, we're on the wrong side of the fence on this one because they can control the narrative.
Police say Granton was identified during a narcotics investigation, took off when police tried to question him, and was involved in an armed confrontation, allegations his father disputes.
Nowhere on the videos do you see my son armed, and nowhere on the videos do you see a confrontation. My son was running away. Whatever my son was doing, he's not a person who would have an armed confrontation with the police.
Attorney Antonio Romanucci says the lawsuit is about justice, but it's also about money and the repeated settlements that the city has had to pay to victims of police violence. The city's law department says it has not yet received the lawsuit and cannot comment on it. Live in the newsroom, Charlie Wojciechowski. Patrick, back to you.
All right, thank you, Charlie.